Every once in a while, a player comes along who not only challenges the status quo, but completely disrupts it. For the WNBA, Caitlin Clark is that player, a generational talent. From day one, Caitlin has been a polarizing figure. Love her or hate her, she commands attention. It's common for fans to voice their opinions, but when you see both former and current WNBA stars joining the chorus, you know something extraordinary is happening. To some, she's a disruptor. To others, a revelation. In a league where every new player is measured against legends, Caitlin is setting new standards. She's the underdog, the David challenging the Goliath that is the established WNBA. Hailing from West Des Moines, Iowa, Clark took the college basketball world by storm in 2020 with the Iowa Hawkeyes. Fast forward to 2024, and she was the top pick in the WNBA draft, selected by the Indiana Fever. But over her 4 seasons at Iowa, Caitlin became nothing less than a legend. She racked up an astonishing 3,951 points, becoming the greatest scorer in college basketball history.
I'm going to go on the record and say she's the best female collegiate player ever. Ever? I said what I said.
Her reputation as a scorer is unparalleled. Towards the end of her senior year, she scored her 3,528th point, claiming the title of all-time scorer in NCAA women's basketball.
She going for history.
Yet for her, records are just milestones along the journey. Just 2 weeks after that, she toppled another monumental barrier, scoring her 3,668th point to beat Pete Maravich's long-standing record from 1970.
That one. This for college basketball history. Caitlin Clark becomes the all-time leading scorer in major college basketball history.
It's staggering, the numbers alone. But to truly get the magnitude of Caitlin's impact, you need to see her in action. It's about how she plays the game. Clark redefined what it means to be an offensive player in women's college basketball over the past 3 decades. Her record-breaking totals are impressive, sure, but they only scratch the surface of her capabilities and her impact on the game. Throughout history, we've witnessed incredible scorers like Lynette Woodard, Kelsey Plum, and Brittany Griner dominate the women's game. Each has left a mark on the game, but Caitlin Clark? She's playing in a league of her own. Think of NBA icons like Steph Curry and Damian Lillard. Like these NBA greats, Clark shares that rare ability to reshape defenses from the moment she crosses half court. Her presence alone creates opportunities, opening up the floor for her teammates like few others can. But it's her vision and passing that truly set her apart. While her scoring prowess is undeniable, it's her playmaking that crowns her not just as the best scorer, but as the premier all-around offensive force in the women's game today. Her impact resonates far beyond the stats and the records. She's inspiring a new generation of fans and players across the globe, reshaping how the game is played and perceived. This is the Caitlin Clark effect, an occurrence that's reshaping women's basketball. Men's basketball has always been destined for the spotlight. Its combination of incredible athleticism and skill creates a spectacular sport. Even before sports leagues fully realized their financial potential, the game itself was captivating. Parallel to this, women's basketball has been creating its own path. The game's popularity and financial success have surged recently, following an already promising trajectory. Clark's electric performances have made women's college basketball a headline event, and her leap to the WNBA has enhanced the sport at both collegiate and professional levels. Clark has not only introduced a new wave of fans to women's college hoops, but also to the WNBA. These fans are quickly realizing something that veterans of the women's game have long known, that the WNBA is so compelling, even standout college stars face a steep ascent to success in the league. Right now, Clark is a pivotal force behind the WNBA's rise. The spotlight she commanded at Iowa has not only followed her, but has helped to catapult the entire league to new heights. While there certainly are other stars boosting the league's profile, like Angel Reese and Cameron Brink, it's Caitlin's impact that remains central to the increasing popularity of women's basketball. The ratings game tells a story all in its own. This year's national championship game between Iowa and South Carolina captivated 18.9 million viewers, an 89% increase from the previous year, making it the highest-rated basketball game in 5 years across both men's and women's leagues. And at its peak, the championship clash drew 24 million viewers. Clark's entry into the WNBA has been nothing short of revolutionary. To give you a sense of scale, The 2023 WNBA Finals averaged 728,000 viewers, with the championship game alone pulling in 889,000. Before Caitlin's draft, the Indiana Fever had one of the lowest attendances in the league and minimal TV exposure. Now, post-draft, average ticket prices for games featuring the Fever have more than doubled. And astonishingly, at least 36 of the Fever's 40 regular season games are slated for TV and streaming platforms, making it the most broadcast team in the WNBA this season. The impact was evident on draft night 2, where the WNBA draft drew an average of 2.45 million viewers, a 307% increase over the previous year. And to put it in perspective, the previous record was set back in 2004 with 600,000 viewers. Her first appearance in the WNBA was more than just a game. The game drew an audience of 2.1 million, the highest for a WNBA game in more than 20 years. Even before turning pro, Clark had already made headlines off the court. She had already signed endorsement deals with giants like Nike and Gatorade, breaking new ground in a landscape transformed by recent changes in NCAA regulations. According to the name, image, and likeness database On3, she has earned $3.4 million from sponsorships during her college career. And at the draft, she became the first basketball star, WNBA or NBA, to be dressed by Prada. Her impact stretches beyond the court. Clark has signed an 8-year, $28 million contract with Nike, which includes her own signature shoe line. And what do we call this unprecedented wave of attention and excitement? The Caitlin Clark effect. It's reshaping, redefining, and reigniting passion for women's basketball across the nation and beyond. While her influence on the court is undeniable, the disparity in earnings between WNBA and NBA players remains stark. In her rookie season, Clark is set to earn $76,535. Over the next 4 years, her salary under the WNBA's collective bargaining agreement will total $338,056. Compare that to last year's top NBA draft pick, Victor Wembanyama, who signed a staggering $55 million deal with the San Antonio Spurs. Clark's earnings amount to just 0.6% of Wembanyama's first contract. But change is on the horizon, fueled by Clark, whose long-distance shooting, no-look passes, and ball handling are narrowing the perception gap between men's and women's basketball. Her style of play draws direct comparisons to Curry, one of the most revolutionary male players of the last decade. When she launches a three-pointer from deep, the comparison becomes more clear. Consider A'ja Wilson, a dominant force in the WNBA, known for her all-around prowess. Yet, unlike NBA's Anthony Edwards, who electrifies crowds with his dunks from near the foul line, Wilson's game doesn't include such aerial acrobatics. But Clark, when she pulls up for a 30-foot three-pointer, the parallels with Stephen Curry are undeniable. She and Curry mirror each other. However, transitioning to the pros hasn't been all smooth sailing for her. Off the court, her impact is undeniable, but within the lines, the reality is starkly different. In the WNBA, there are no rookies' concessions. It's survival of the fittest, and the veterans are unforgiving. This was starkly illustrated recently in a game against the Chicago Sky, when Kennedy Carter collided with Clark off the ball, sending the rookie tumbling to the hardwood. An incident that sparked widespread debate about her treatment during her debut season. Clark's team has voiced their frustration over the lack of calls she's receiving, a sentiment echoed by Clark herself. Yet, she remains unshaken, fully aware of the league's physical demands thanks to her time at Iowa. At Iowa, the system played to her strengths, but in the WNBA, every aspect of her game is tested. Clark is learning and evolving. She joked initially that her offense might compensate for her defensive lapses, but she's quickly learning the reality. Without a solid defense, scoring opportunities are hard to come by. As she acclimates, we begin to see glimpses of the Iowa Clark. Resilient, adaptive, and ever-evolving. But whatever the future holds, Clark has already made her mark. By the age of 22, she has propelled women's basketball into a new era, becoming not just a standout athlete, but a cultural icon. The Caitlin Clark effect is unmistakable. Viewing ratings have soared, attendance numbers have climbed, and merchandise sales have reached new peaks. Her performances have redefined what success looks like in women's basketball. And speaking of Caitlin Clark, don't go anywhere just yet. Make sure you hit play on this next video where we dive into what NBA legends think of her. Find out how these basketball greats view Clark's impact on the game and her place among the sport's rising stars.